Around the World segment tonight. President Trump's special envoy, Jason Greenblatt, met with Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas in Ramallah on Tuesday. The meeting came a day after Greenblatt met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Greenblatt tweeted after the meeting with Abbas that we had a positive, far-ranging exchange about the current situation. So what does this say about President Trump's approach to the Middle East, and could this mean progress in peace talks between Israel and the Palestinians? With me now, former IDF soldier and former NYPD officer, Mika Danzig. Mika, good to see you.
Good to see you, Liz.
All right, tell me what you think. Quick reaction here. Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas invited to the White House by President Trump to meet with President Trump. What do you think?
Well, I mean, look, I certainly would love to share in Jason Greenblatt's optimism that this may be a positive path forward in the peace process, but I have more concerns than I have optimism, to be frank. President Trump, his entire campaign has been about this notion that he's thinking outside the box, that he's not going to do the same old, that it's not going to be all the old tried and frankly not true methods of D.C. when it comes to these things. But unfortunately, it looks like when it comes to the Arab-Israeli conflict that he is going back to the box, so to speak.
Right, and I guess that was one of my questions for you. In the past, President Trump has refused to deal directly with the Palestinians or with the Palestinian Authority. Why the change now? You know,
it's hard to say. I don't know what Mahmoud Abbas has done to demonstrate to President Trump or the Trump administration that he deserves the honor of being feted at the White House. President Abbas, and I use that term loosely because he's frankly a dictator who's in the 13th year of his 4-year term, has never run for office since his first election with the Palestinians, and that wasn't even a real election with a real opponent. It has not done anything really to demonstrate that he deserves this, that he can be a true partner for peace. The Mahmoud Abbas and the Palestinian Authority still glorify and encourage terrorism. They have 3 schools that they've recently named after Dalal Mughrabi, a terrorist who was responsible for killing 37 Israelis, including 12 children. They named a soccer tournament after one of the recent terrorists who stabbed a couple in Jerusalem simply for the crime of being Jewish. So they're engaging in the same behavior that they've been engaging with all this time, and they haven't changed it. I mean, I would think that President Trump would want to tell Mahmoud Abbas, if you want to demonstrate that you're a partner for peace, first of all, stop glorifying terrorists. Second, stop inciting violence. Stop spreading anti-Semitic lies about the Jewish people. Mahmoud Abbas...
Well, it brings it around to what you and I talk about. I mean, almost on a weekly basis, whenever we talk on the show, it comes around to kind of, well, the universal truth, you would think it would be. I guess to the Palestinian Authority, it's not so much. But a peace deal simply can't happen if the Palestinian Authority is not willing to acknowledge that Israel has a right to exist where she exists right now. And to my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm missing something, if I didn't hear an update, you'd think this would be a very breaking news story, but I haven't heard any change articulated from the Palestinian Authority that is somehow now saying that Israel has a right to exist.
No, they've always tried to draw this fake distinction between recognizing Israel as, in some form or fashion, and recognizing Israel's right to exist as a Jewish state. They have expressly said over and over again, they will not recognize the right of Israel to exist as a Jewish state. So there can be 56 states that belong to the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, who expressly identify them as Muslim states. That's okay, according to the Palestinian Authority, but they refuse to recognize the idea that one state in the Jewish homeland can exist as a Jewish state. So they've not done that. They haven't stopped inciting for violence. They haven't stopped spreading anti-Semitic lies. They haven't stopped encouraging their people to kill Jews and reward their people for killing Jews.
In the celebrations, again, we talk about this too often, it seems, because too often these terror attacks against the Israeli people happen, but the Palestinian Authority throws celebrations when their terrorists kill Israeli people. Mika, before we run out of time here, I want to ask you about the tactics that President Trump is employing right now, because he's put Jared Kushner, one of his chief advisors, his son-in-law, in charge of figuring out the solution of bringing about a peace deal between Israel and the Palestinians here. But like you said, some of these tactics that he seems to be employing, and he's even changed his tune a little bit, they've been employed in the past, and Trump even has gone a step further. He unfroze the over $200 million that Obama gave to the Palestinians right as he left office, and he hasn't fulfilled his promise yet of moving the embassy, the Israeli embassy, to Jerusalem yet. I mean, what do you make of those?
They're all discouraging. I think if President Trump wants to really break the gridlock, and stop the past quicksand that is the Arab-Israeli peace process, particularly with the Palestinian Authority. It needs to send a strong message that it's not business as usual. If you want our money, if you want, frankly, aid money, free money from the U.S. taxpayers, you have to stop paying terrorists. Currently, the Palestinian Authority pays almost $300 million a year to terrorists and terrorist families. And the more Jews you kill, the more money you get. It has to stop saying that this is a simply land for peace deal. This has to be an ideological deal. One piece of encouraging news that I hope does continue is this notion of a regional peace deal, one that involves Jordan and other of the more moderate Sunni Arab states. Because those Arab states, those moderate Sunni Arab states, need Israel and need the U.S. because they're scared of Iran, they're scared of Hezbollah, and they want a regional economic deal that would actually uplift the Palestinians' lives, and it would lift them out from the kleptocracy that is the Mahmoud Abbas dictatorship.
Right, and I think just that regional stability, too, would ensure that if there were a deal that was struck, a peace deal that's struck, it would have a chance of lasting if there are other people besides just the two parties involved in the deal. Mika, I appreciate you coming on the show, talking about these issues. It was great to talk to you.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Liz.